Ellie, my wife, walks in with the house phone. Who calls on a house phone now? Right? She said, for you. I'm like, she's like, Gordon. I'm like, sorry? She's
How
like,
did you got your house number?
Gordon. I'm like, who's Gordon? She's like, I don't know. She's like, Gordon. I was like, which Gordon? I don't know. He sounds nice. And that was it. So it's like, hello? And it's Gordon.
Hello and welcome back to another episode of Kid in a Sweet Shop. As you can see, we've come down to Gordon Murray Automotive because it's a very exciting day. They are launching the new T.33 Spider. We're going to be catching up with Dario Franchitti, who is the R&D driver, to talk to him what that entails. So let's go inside, let's go and meet the star of the show, the T.33, and talk to the guys. Dario, so lovely for you to talk to us. First of all, I know you do all the R&D, especially for the T.50, and you'll be doing it on the 33. But how did your relationship with Gordon start?
Well, I don't do all the R&D. The test drivers do all the hard
yes.
work, and I sort of jump in it every now and then and give a bit of direction. But it started, we were over there in a Fiat 500 actually, Gordon and I. And when it came to launching T.50, he was looking for somebody. It was just about lockdown. They were supposed to do it on a yacht in Monaco, I think, and then lockdown happened. Yeah. And so I guess they thought of me. And I was at home reading a book on Niki Lauda. I remember as clearly as it was that period. And what had happened in the book, it was like page 126 or something. I'm sitting there reading, and Niki's just got out of the car and said, I'm done with Formula One, and walked off.
Wow,
and
I remember that.
Right, and it said Gordon was very upset.
Yeah.
And then Ellie, my wife, walks in with the house phone. Who calls on a house phone now? Right? She said, for you. I'm like, she's like, Gordon. I'm like, sorry? She's
How
like,
did you got your house number?
Gordon. I'm like, who's Gordon? She's like, I don't know. She's like, Gordon. I was like, which Gordon? I don't know. He sounds nice. And that was it. So it's like, hello? And it's Gordon.
Whilst you were actually
I'm reading about him.
That's incredible.
And he said, oh, hey, we're launching T.50. We'd love you to help us with the launch. And I thought, right, nothing ventured, nothing gained. I said, look, I'd love to do the launch with you, but I'd love to be involved in the whole process of this, because to learn from you would be incredible. It'd be a dream come true. You know, I love cars, I love everything about it. I've done a lot of development over the years. So he said, this is Gordon being quite a canny Scot here. He said, oh, you know what, I'll think about that. What I didn't know was they'd had a board meeting the week before and decided that was the role they wanted me to do anyway.
They'd already had it planned.
Yeah. So it all worked, and we did the T.50 launch over there, and then the journey started.
So you came on as brand ambassador, and then obviously, because you are an extraordinary racing car driver with the most incredible wins and accolades and history. So he then said, right, can you come in and just bring your racing kind of head into these cars?
Yeah, that was always part of the plan.
Yeah.
And it started off as a sort of, I think it was like 15 days a year. Mm-hmm. And then towards the end of last year, it became much more immersive, and I'm involved a lot now. I mean, I do the commute. I'm on the M25 most days every week.
I love it.
Just be careful if Gordon's ever trying to convince you to...
I want to come work.
Exactly. Well, if he brings out bottles of red wine, just be careful, because that's what he did. I called him the next day. I said, what did we agree to? He's like, oh, don't worry.
I love it.
So for me, it's a dream come true to work on cars like this, and with him.
I know.
And this team that he's assembled, it's pretty cool.
I know he was saying it's the best team he's worked. I mean, all the other teams were incredible. Yeah. He said just right now, wow, they're really just on it.
Yeah, and he is. You know, you watch him early in the morning. You know, I get into work 8 o'clock, and he's been there for 2 hours, and he is just prolific in these ideas that he's just putting down on paper.
Well, I just couldn't believe it, because when I talked to him last year, when we did our interview for Kid in a Sweet Shop, that all of this has happened. The T.50 was just kind of in production. No, it wasn't in production. It was in production now, but it was
in development.
In development.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, you've just got 2 more cars in this short amount of time.
Because you've got to keep feeding the machine. You've got to, because this car now is we've started production with it. We've started, the first ones are over there being built. So you've then got, the design teams have worked on this, they've worked on that. This is now going to go into development here, that's going into development. Yeah. So you've got to keep coming up with new ideas because there's a lot of people in the company. And it's been really interesting to see what he came up with when he did this. He said, I think you'll like what I've done. And I went into his office for part of my job is actually just like being at school. Yeah. I go in, I ask him questions, he answers the questions I've got, and there's a part of it me helping in development, but there's also a big part of learning. Yeah. And he had a cover over the drawing board, and I said, what's under there? He said, hang on. And I was like, what's under there? He said, hang on, patience. So we had a bit of a discussion, and he said, right. He stood up and he took the sheet off the drawing board, and it was this.
Did you just go, oh, wow.
I love a spider. Yeah. I mean, I would say more than half my cars are open top. And the unusual thing is most spiders are compromised, right?
Exactly.
And they're heavier. And this is only 18 kilos heavier than that.
It's unbelievable.
It's crazy, isn't it?
I don't know how they did it.
And so for that, it's just perfect for me. You're so much more involved in the outside world, and then you get even closer to the V12.
Engine, literally in your head.
Oh yeah.
So take us back to kind of that original role, and because I'm fascinated because I love driving, the driving side. So you get in a car that often is quite raw. What does it feel like? What are you sending back? Are you doing rain tests? Are you doing sun tests and heat tests? Tell me the whole process.
I mean, really all of it. The first thing I drove was George, the Ultima mule. Have you seen George?
No.
He's not much to look at, but it's basically an Ultima with this engine in the back of it, and the pipes poking out.
Oh no, I want to see George.
We did the first, I actually filmed it, the first pull to 12,000 on the road, and it was actually on the Millbrook Bowl, and we just, JP that works at Cosworth, big Irish guy, and he's in the passenger seat, and we're both sort of trying to look cool, and I floored it, and we both just started laughing.
Did you? Just pure joy.
Just pure joy, exactly right. And so that was the early stages, but then you start with a very raw car.
Yeah. And
you're trying to give the engineers direction on the basics, and you just get closer and closer to, as Gordon calls it, driving perfection. You just got to get, and then you're really working on the smallest details to make it how I would want it, but it's also got to be how Gordon would want it.
Yeah.
And how a big cross-section of owners are going to want it. I mean, the ultimate sign-off comes from Gordon.
Yeah, I mean, it must have been quite terrifying because Gordon is renowned for being an utter perfectionist, for creating the perfect driving cars. Was that slightly worrying to kind of live up to those standards?
No, it wasn't, because I am really bad. Every car I get in, I pick to pieces.
You do.
I don't mean it,
cut
to the
from the same cloth.
Ridiculous amounts of detail.
Yeah.
And so we share that sort of just, I think it's part of being involved in racing.
Yeah.
You just look for the smallest gain everywhere you can, you're never happy. The only bit that was difficult, we had a difference of, not a difference of opinion, but I thought something needed fixed, needed worked on, and he felt it was okay. And that was an interesting conversation, just from my point of view.
No.
It was a weird thing because I'd taken the family away skiing, and we were away for 3 weeks, and then halfway through I thought, I'm going to have to go back and drive the car.
Yeah.
And so I left Switzerland at 5 in the morning, jumped on the plane over here to Guildford, drove the car for a couple hours, literally jumped back in the car, up to Heathrow, back to Switzerland. And then the next night, it was date night. Ellie and I went out for a date, and Gordon calls in because he'd driven the car.
Yeah, and you can't hit silent with the boss.
No, and I knew it was important. So I'm standing outside the sushi restaurant in this ski town, And he said, oh yeah, I think this is good, that's good, that needs a bit of work. And so he finished, and I said, this is awkward. I said, this is difficult for me, but you know, I disagree, because I think this is the biggest problem. And he went, why do you think that? And he was really good, he didn't say, no, you're wrong. He said, why do you think that? And I explained, he went, let me think about that. And he thought about it overnight, and the next day he came back and said, yeah, I think you might be right.
Oh my God, amazing.
God, because, yeah.
And these little things would be, let's say you're driving and there's a bit of vibration, or there will be braking, pulling, what, I mean.
It's this car is about how, to me, it's about how it makes you feel.
Yes.
And
so take me through the kind of that feeling.
You have to, we talk about, I mean, all these cars, apart from that one there, that's going to be the quickest thing, right? That's
Niki Lauda beast in the
T.50,
background.
yes, that's going to be unbelievably quick. But there are going to be cars out on the road that are faster than T.50. It's designed as a road car. It's designed as an experience. It's mind-blowingly quick, which you'll find out when you get in it.
Yeah.
But it's about the experience of it. It drives like, it gives you the emotion of an old car.
Right, okay.
You've got to work with it.
So that your work, it's not literally getting in, sit back and...
You don't floor it, hang on and pull the paddle, and it just does everything for you. Okay. You've got to work with it. And if you make a bad shift, you'll know about it.
Everyone knows about it.
If you jump on the throttle too early, you know, the traction control and everything will help you and all those sort of things, but it's a car you've got to work with, and so you've got to get all the controls working in harmony. You've got to get the right feeling from steering, gear shift, brakes, clutch, the way the engine delivers its power, all those things, and the test drivers, myself, Gordon, that's what we've been really focused on. It's not the fastest thing around a circuit, but on one of the lovely back roads in Scotland, that's what it's built for.
I know, and so at which point did you turn around and say, I've got to get one of these? Because I know that your name is down and you are actually a proud owner of a T.50.
I will be when it's finished. Yeah. So way back when Gordon, I was at Monterey Car Week, and Gordon, I was sitting having lunch with Ellie at this hotel, and Gordon walks out of the store and I said, what are you doing here? He said, we're launching this new car.
Oh, so this was before you started working for the firm?
This is before it even...
No way.
Yeah, this is way before.
This is brilliant.
I've got this car, would he come and see? And I was like, oh, well, Gordon, that's amazing. And he said, that's V12. Yeah, V12, centre seat. He said, it's just, it's going to be all the things I've learned between when I did the F1 and now, and just it's just going to move the game on. How much?
Yeah, exactly.
Right, and he said, well, I think it's it's going to be like 2.3. Ooh,
yeah,
that's a lot of money, Gordon. He said, do you want one? I said, oh, I'd love one, but just bought a house. Blah, blah. Anyway, I get the job, we start working together. He's like, do you want one? Because we're launching it next week. As soon as the video goes live,
that's it, they're gone.
They're all gone. 75% of them have gone.
And 48 hours, I believe, from the moment that when they did go.
Exactly. So then I got in it and drove it for the first time. And I literally was like,
okay. I'm going to sell the house.
They've all gone. But there wasn't, I could have sold anything, but they're all gone. So what am I going to do? So I went home and I wrote him a long email. I was like, Gordon, if there's any way I could get one, this is what I'd use it for. And I had this sort of vision in my head of battering it along a crazy back road up the north of Scotland. And I wrote him this long thing, and the next week I came in, I was doing something, I think I was driving it again, and we're standing around the car, we'd just driven it, and we're all sort of going, that whole thing of five guys done it. He walked up and he just put his arm around me and said, don't worry, we kept you one of the prototypes.
Yeah, you got a prototype.
Yeah, I was like, yes. So,
wow.
Yeah.
So you got one.
So I've got I've got XP10 is my car. So I wanted number 10 because that was my last racing number. Yeah.
I'm so jealous.
Just got to, I got
amazing.
to pay for it, but it's going to be just incredible.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things I do. I come at this from an owner as well, because
Exactly.
I've got the experience of developing racing cars, and I know what I like in road cars, but it's from that owner point of view too, living with it, and it's practical. I mean, you see it. The ride height is that high for a reason.
Exactly. You normally see, I mean, they're like this nowadays. And I was just saying, so many of the new kind of supercars are just so shouty, and they're all just trying to
Bling.
air intakes and things. And just what Gordon does so beautifully is the simplicity. And as you now come on board as getting that driving perfection down to a T. I mean,
that's
honestly,
the plan.
Yes, no
That's
pressure,
the plan.
no pressure.
Also, you got luggage. I mean, Marino and I, my brother, we did a trip to Le Mans when I first moved home, and we took one of my cars, which I won't mention, but it was 2 of us for 5 days. He had a bag under his legs.
Oh God, I know. Sitting on one.
Yeah, in the door pockets of this car. We had underwear and socks each. We had shoes stuffed down the side of the seat, and that was it. That's all we could take. Whereas you get in the practicality of this car, you can go away.
I know. And how beautiful are the 33, the luggage compartments coming out.
I'm trying to think of what it's called. It's I learned the name of it the other day because it works in 2 dimensions.
It's so, I mean, just the whole mechanism, I was like...
Beautiful, isn't it?
That is really spectacular.
Yeah, that's cool. And where you stand when you do it, out it comes, and then the luggage goes.
I mean, just talk a bit about this car. What are your favourite bits?
The scoop.
The scoop.
Of what we can see, the scoop, and also the front wings. When you sit in the car, it reminds me a bit of a Dino.
Yeah, they're quite high, aren't they, from where the driver is?
Gordon loves the scuttle to be low, and you can position the car perfectly on these creases. It just shows you exactly where the edges of the car are. And then there's just the engine. It's the mechanicals as much as it's just this beautiful body, but the mechanicals underneath are...
I'd love to hear it.
Are crazy. Yeah, I've got a little on my phone. This was in the building here, and this was on the runway the other day. One of the test drivers.
Get my mic in so people can hear it. OMG.
And then there was this one when I passed it. There's actually a bit of, if you look closely.
That
is amazing.
Amazing.
But the best thing about it is sounds as good inside. You know, a lot of cars you get in and there's no...
We can't hear anything.
Right, and you lose it. The people outside you're hearing a great show. This, with induction noise.
Is that because of the scoop? It's
and it's got a sort of a vibration to it that gives it the resonance.
Yeah.
And you go on if you go on the throttle and you want a bit of excitement, the noise comes up. If you want to just cruise along the motorway, don't give it a lot of throttle. There's no induction, so you completely control it by your right foot.
Wow.
And it sounds fantastic inside.
So it's literally what he's building is the ultimate driver's car.
Yeah, that's
cool. Incredibly, I mean, that's why we all love to get in a classic, because we love that, the rawness and the pureness and the feedback you're getting back from the car.
Yeah.
Which modern day cars are lovely because you've got to get to A and B, but as a driver, I love that. I want to feel, everything coming through the brakes. I want to feel it.
Exactly, but it's not for everybody. Some people are like, look, I just want to go really, really quick in a straight line, or really, and this thing goes quick in a straight line, but they don't want to have to work that hard. But this is, if you're into the whole thing of driving a car and working with it and learning. In the first day driving this car, you're not going to learn all its secrets.
No.
It takes a long time to become at one with the car, and that's so you don't become bored with it.
Yes, of course.
So that's.
I mean, it just sounds incredible. And so Gordon was saying that the prototype is quite soon.
Yeah, prototype
for the 33.
Of 33, but the to be honest, when he did all the benchmarking and when he did all the attributes for the car and all the numbers for it, it was done in the Spider.
Oh, really?
It was done. That was how he said, look, I'll do this first. I'll make sure this is good enough. I'm not going to build the fixed head car and then compromise for a Spider. I'm going to build the correct Spider and get it everything I want, get it as good as it can possibly be, and have that too.
So clever.
Yeah, he thinks about things in a. a very interesting way.
Gordon Murray way. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Honestly, it's
Thank
been
you.
such a pleasure.
Thank you.
And I'd love to go and have a drive with you, and whatever it is, one day, and we can have a
Absolutely.
proper chit-chat about
Yeah.
your history, because I'd love to talk to you about
Absolutely.
the indie days and
Let's do it.
before. And yes.
Let's do it.
But thank you.
Thanks, Jodie.
Very, very special. Hope you enjoyed that, guys.